Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa bihi nasta'een wa sallillahumma ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Muhammad wa alihi at-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I begin in the name of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. There is no doubt that it's due to His kindness and generosity that He gives us these opportunities where we gather in remembrance and in glorification of Him Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. You know, self-restraint is probably one of the most important characteristics every human being must have. Self-restraint is one of the most important Islamic characteristics that has been advised to us, and in Arabic it is known as iffa. Self-restraint is there to control our desires, right? Self-restraint is not there when, for example, I don't have a desire for something. Let's say I don't like cake, and you're like, eat cake, and you're like, no, I'm practicing self-restraint. I don't eat cake, but I don't like cake. Well, it doesn't really work there, you know what I'm saying? It only works in areas where my desires are rampant, and now I gotta say, okay, I gotta figure out a way to control my desires, and that's where self-restraint comes in. Desires on their own are not bad. Rather, we can say very confidently that desires are positive. They are gifts from God. The fact that we can desire certain things, like I desire to eat, that is very positive, right? I desire to sleep, that is very positive. In fact, every desire that we have in its origination, in its original form, is positive. Eating keeps me alive. Drinking keeps me alive. Sleeping keeps me sane and alive. Likewise, even the love or the desire that I have of my loving myself, what is known as hubbul dhat. All of us love ourselves, right? If I didn't love myself, I wouldn't shower. I wouldn't go to the doctor when I'm sick. These are examples of me actually caring about myself. So in its original form, God gives us these desires because we need these things. We need these things in our lives to be successful. The problem with desires is the moment I start to satisfy my desires begin to realize something, right? So for example, in just the way a baby does, or a kid, right? Why a baby cries, a baby will get fed. A baby learns immediately that, hey, when I cry, I'll get fed, right? There's a connection that is made, right? It realizes that when it gets hungry, that's the next thing that will happen. And as children get older, they realize the same thing, right? So for example, if my daughter goes to the store and I tell her, no, you can't have that, and then she throws a fuss, and then out of embarrassment, I'll be like, okay, just get it, right? Here, buy it. My daughter has just learned a valuable trick, right? She's learned that when she desires for something, and I say no, she's gonna throw a fuss. And most likely than not, I'm gonna cave in, especially if that fuss is public, right? Children learn that way. Obviously, adults, we're the same way, right? My desires, which are internal, innate, they realize that, hey, whenever that bell rings in his stomach, he's gonna go run after whatever I tell him to run after, right? Our desires begin to guide us. Our desires begin to rule over us. Instead of me ruling over my desires begin to rule over me. And this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, أَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَى. Have you seen the one who takes his desires as his Lord? Right? So whatever my desires tells me, I'll go do. My eyes want to watch something inappropriate, I'll turn it on. My ears want to listen to something, I'll let it listen to something. My stomach wants something, I let it do something. Whatever it is, my desires run rampant. Why? Because my desires have learned how to control me. Self-restraint comes into this picture because self-restraint will allow me to govern my desires once again. It will tell my desires, no, I'm not giving this to you right now. And this is a very important characteristic, right? I kid you not, if we as a community, as an ummah, as a people, learn how to control our desires, many of the issues that we face in the world today of greed, invasion of privacy, of spying on other people, of caring more about what others have, all of that will end if I become satisfied with what I have and I can control my desires. This is probably one of the most important akhlaqi characteristics. When you look at the Quran, you know where the Quran uses the example of iffah? It uses the example of iffah to describe a group of poor people. Okay? We won't have time to go into the exact tafsir, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, and I believe this verse is in Surah Ali Imran or Surah Al-Baqarah, but He talks about a group of people who deserve charity. And He says that these people, the people who deserve charity, are those who are poor, they don't have anything to stand on, yani they don't have any income to stand on, any base to stand on. He said, but the ignorant will consider them to be rich. Why? Because of their ta'affuf. Yeah? Because they will not go begging from other people. Yeah? These people control their desires of asking people. It's so easy to ask somebody, Baba, can I borrow $200? Right? Can I borrow $100? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I love it when a person does not beg this way from other people, right? But rather they practice self-control and learn to live with what God has given them and put their trust in God, and God will provide for them after that. So the example here is that of one who does not beg. But then the Quran also gives the example of Prophet Yusuf, right? The one who, when he was propositioned by Zulaykha, he was able to control his desires and he was able to stop that desire from going forward, and therefore he practiced self-restraint.